Joining me on GCS Today is Travis Johnson. He is the art teacher at Forestview High School. Travis, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We are focusing on art education and what art means to students. What's been your motivation to teach students about art?
Getting into art, my real focus was kind of bringing that passion that I had and conveying that through what I loved, which was making and that idea of creation. And so for me, getting into education, especially teaching art, it was this idea that somehow I could take that passion of being able to have nothing, a blank sheet of paper, and then just through sheer will and creativity bring something to life that had worth and value.
And we hear a lot about the arts in school, and we hear some debate about whether art should be or should not be in school. Why do you feel like it's an important part of the overall academic program?
There are actually a couple of reasons for that. One, I feel like art is kind of an umbrella topic and subject area in the sense that we can pull subjects and topics from any of the other curricula. We can look at art history and see how history is changing through time. We can look at science. We can look at cultures and see how those cultural influences are reflected through art. And also in the sense of kind of where art kind of lives. And it lives in this realm of critical thinking and problem solving. And so a lot of time we are spending analyzing artwork and evaluating artwork. How did they make it? How did they get their idea across? And then we take that and synthesize that information and we put it into our own work so that we're conveying these same ideas and our emotions or concepts through visual means and trying to do it effectively.
At what point did you know you wanted to teach art?
I always knew art was a thing for me. I always really enjoyed that idea of creation and making and expression. And so it really was, even as early as college, wanting to share that and serve in a sense. My parents had met in the military, and so there was that really strong sense of service and doing something for the community. And so my route for that was going into teaching.
So with your students, are you seeing a lot of creativity in your students?
Immense creativity. And that's one of the things we spend a lot of time on is how to develop that creativity. It's not something that just happens, as people like to say. It's like, oh, I don't have a lick of creativity. It's something we build, and it's a skill that we build. And it's how do you look at something and think about it in a way that you can create that twist? And what are those tools that you can do to be able to do that?
Now, you have two of your creative students with us today. We're going to walk over and take a look at some of their fantastic art that they have brought to share with us today.
Excellent.
We have two students from Forestview High School with us. This is Alexis Heracles, and we have Ellen Smykowski. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, great. They have brought two of their, each one, they have two of their art pieces here today. Alexis, will you talk with us a little bit about each piece and what it's made of and what inspires that piece?
Of course. Okay, so my first one is a 3D sculpture of a deer head that was created by an abstract form of assemblage of like sticks and wiring, and it's titled The Spirit of the Woods. I originally got my inspiration from a man named Andy Goldsworthy. He is a common artist, and he's amazing when it comes to expression through natural materials and all that stuff. And so I got my inspiration from that, and then I just kind of moved forward into my concentration, which is natural things and animals, and that's how I formed this. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort, but it was way worth it, and I'm just completely adored by it. And then
now, look, before we move to the second piece, each each stick that is placed, is it put there on purpose, or did you just do it based on what you thought, or did you have a model? How did you determine where to put everything?
Okay, so I did start off with a image of a deer head, and then I just kind of moved from that. Of course, I wouldn't get exactly the same because it is sticks and wiring is hard to do, but what I did was I kind of mapped out the structure of the bones and just the concavity of the face, and I moved from there. And I kind of wanted to use the openness of the space to create more of a visual image that's not like a solid form. So that way you could see through it and you could see all the structures around it and give it a better like idea of something that's not really there but is always like a positive form.
Okay, and now your second piece that you have here, tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, this one is untitled. It was one of the first pieces I ever did actually, and it is completely made out of plaster, just like a constant layering from the top to bottom. And I created it originally to kind of like say a political aspect. I got my inspiration of that from Andy Goldsworthy as well, but also from two others, which would be, Deborah Butterfield. And what they did was they kind of worked with sticks and natural things. And I just wanted it to kind of represent how our society is ever changing and ever growing. And from here on, our nature is kind of incorporated into our industrialized society. So as you can see, it's growing out of what looks like concrete. So that would be like a representation of a tree, and then our hand coming out of it to represent like humans.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Great pieces of artwork.
Thank
Now,
you.
Ellen, you've got two drawings, I guess we will
Yes.
call them today. We'll get the microphone to you. If you
All
can
right.
tell us a little bit about this drawing here that you have.
All right. Well, the original was actually on display in Charlotte as it won in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards.
Well,
So-
congratulations on
Yes,
that. That's
so
great.
What I wanted to do was, in a way, tell a story and play off of opposites. So we have the lucky rabbit's foot and how it's not quite as lucky for the rabbit in the scenario. So the original, I used acrylic, watercolor, pen and ink, and then liquid leaf to create some metallic elements in it. So I really wanted to try and tell a story through it in a way and let people kind of interpret how they think that scenario happened.
I think that is really interesting. The lucky rabbit's foot, it's not as lucky for the rabbit. That's great. I like that. Now, you've got your second piece here. Let's
Yes.
talk a little bit about
All right.
it.
Well, this is my bicycle piece, just kind of what I refer to it as. Now, in a way, I also, again, wanted to tell a story through my art, and it's a bicycle fallen on its side, and I used the dark background and kind of left blank negative space areas in the bike, so it could show kind of like from the background, like leaves and grass kind of overgrown on it.
Okay.
And I used color pencil for that to create it, and I'm really proud of what I've been able to do in class.
Well, you've got great designs there. It takes a lot of talent for any type of visual art. It takes a good eye and a lot of talent, and I think it probably takes a lot of patience as well, don't you think?
Definitely.
Well, thank you both very much for being with us to share your artwork. And it's very obvious that we have some very talented students in Gaston County Schools. I know that you are very proud of these two students as well as the other students in your class.
Oh, immensely proud, and definitely, just hearing this, knowing that they're prepared for that next level, I mean, that I'm set.
I think it is safe to say that the arts are alive and well in Gaston County Schools. Wouldn't you agree?
Very much so.
Travis Johnson, art teacher at Forestview High School. Thank you for being with us today on GCS Today.
Thank you.